I wanted to chat to you guys a little bit about what happens when children are speaking and nobody's understanding them. They are falling over their words, they are mumbling, they're creating incorrect sounds, they aren't articulating themselves in a manner that for their age they should be able to, and others should be able to understand them. Okay, so you can absolutely go and have a full assessment and absolutely go and get therapy with a strong speech therapist, communication therapist, remedial therapist. They are trained to help your child to bring words out of their mouths clearly, to bring ideas out of their thinking into speech clearly. That is a route you can take. What you can do to support that, or even support your child if you are unable to take them to therapy, there are a couple of things you can do. So the first thing you want to do is not overly understand them. You don't want to anticipate what they want so much that it doesn't motivate them to try to be clearer. But you also don't want to pretend you understand nothing they're saying, because the frustration level will go so high that they'll just stop communicating. So we're looking for a sweet spot of understanding. And this is not something that you don't find a sweet spot that stays that spot forever. It's an ebb and flow. It's a thinking about what they're saying, what mood they're in, what the circumstance is, and whether it's the right time to push it or not. So what I would do is, if my child is asking me if they can go and swim, let's say, and the language is coming out with, they're not saying swim, they're saying mimi. And you can say, sure, I think you want to ask me a question. And they might say, okay. Well, I can't quite make out the words. Can you slow it down for me so that I can hear what you're saying? They might slow it down. If they can't slow it down and they think they're slowing it down, you can go, wow, you're so good at slowing things down. Can we make it even slower? And if that doesn't help you to understand, or at least bearing in mind you understanding cognitively, but you might not be understanding the actual words coming out, if that doesn't help, you might want them to speed it up, or you might want them to say it lower, because often children speak in a higher tone, and that higher frequency can take away articulation. So we want them to start modulating, adjusting their spoken voice. We can start with pace, then we can move on to pitch. Then we can move on to volume. Can you say it quieter for me? Can you say it louder for me? And what we're doing is we're helping the child's brain and their connection to their verbal processing. We're helping them to start paying attention, more attention to what is coming out of their mouths. Because we don't want the world to understand them better. We want them to be more understood or understandable. So the way we do that is we ask them to adjust themselves. We ask them to change. Okay? So you as a parent are asking them to alter what they're saying, and maybe not the words. Maybe we just talk about volume, pitch, pace. Saying it into a cup. Saying it through a funnel, so microphones. Whisper it in my ear. Scream it outside, those types of things. And what you're doing is you're waking the brain up to what they're doing. Have you ever been doing something automatic? And we often use the example of driving home, and we get home and we wonder how we got there. Think about driving, and think about if you drive a manual car, which most of us in South Africa do, that clutch ratio to accelerator. If you put your attention on that, often the automatic nature of that disappears, and you kind of lose that ability to do it for a moment, and then you take your brain away and the automatic system moves back in. So we've got two different systems. We've got the automatic system, and then we've got the learning system. So if your child is speaking in a way that you don't understand, he's tapping into an automatic system that is throwing out words with him understanding it, but nobody else. And what we want to do is in order for him to change, he needs to bring the automatic words to the front of his awareness. Awareness is the key to all change, to all learning. But we don't want to diminish his self-esteem and diminish his willingness to change. So we don't talk about the words in the beginning, perhaps. We talk about volume, pace, pitch, okay? And we get his brain to be more aware of what he's saying. And with that awareness, then you can start saying, okay, can you say it normally again? And let me see if I can figure out what words you're saying. And then let's say he does come out with wimwe, and what he's trying to say is swim me. Okay, I'm not even using a full sentence example. And let's say he says wimwe, you can say to whim. Right, so what you're doing again is bringing awareness to the word he's saying. You're not anticipating swim, you're saying whim. You say, oh, I wonder what it means to whim. Can you show me with your body? And then he might show you a stroke, or he might show you water, whatever swimming means for him, or he might take you out to the pool, and then you can go, oh, swim. Then what you're doing is you're bringing the word to him slowly so he can pick up all the detail. So I always use this beautiful example is what's the difference between the word W-E-T and W-E-N-T, besides vast difference in meaning, is one little word in the middle, one little letter, and not just a little letter, but the tiniest little sound. So the difference between wet and went, I mean, you can't even really hear the N. So our children, so that's a subtle difference. So are children hearing the S in swim? Or when they heard the word, are they linking somehow S, they linked to a previous word when they heard a sentence? So we're making it safe for them to get things wrong. We are bringing their attention to themselves through the different senses. So doing like faster and slower and higher pitch. And we're using auditory and mouth and all sorts of things. And then we're never belittling them. And the next time they say whim me again, they don't say swim, you can go, that sounds like swim. Can you say swim? And if they can't get the S out, then you might go, let's swim like snakes. Let's go. And then you go and swim, and you can highlight the sound. What you're doing through all of this is, number one, no judgment. Number two, curiosity, vast amounts of curiosity. Number three, awareness. Through no judgment, you being curious, it taps into their brain being more curious. And awareness, without awareness, we can't change a thing. So those are my steps for parents who are trying to increase their child's spoken language so that they can be understood by more than just mom, who has a sixth sense and understands what their kid is saying. I hope that helps.